And I want to assure you, Cabinet is here to protect the interests of our Kenyans. Unajua, hiyo ni sawa, mtanisikiza na nitawasikiza pia, hakuna shida. I will listen to you and you listen to me. Comrade power! Comrade power! The management of Kenya Airports Authority, led by Henry Agoye, of course I've got my peers with me here, Bwana Alan Kilavuka and the entire team, of course your Secretary General Mos Diema, members of the media, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Mbona sisikii upande ama lunch shida? I think it's a good opportunity to be here with you today, this afternoon, having midwifed a way forward that we have just signed, and which the Secretary General Kotu is going to read for us to appreciate what we've done together. The challenge we have faced over time in our airport from the early days when we wanted to do the Greenfield airport in 2012, 2013, and which has not materialized today, and which has become an embarrassment for our country, because we do all agree that we need a new airport. We need a new investment. When visitors arrive during the El Nino, you all appreciate how the whole place was leaking. The facilities that could boost our dimensioned visitors from 4 million to the kind of numbers that we see in other developing economies. Kenya being the anchor state that we are, servicing through the port of Mombasa, the Northern Corridor servicing Uganda, DRC, Rwanda, Kigali, and the facilities need to be up to be able to stay competitive and remain the kind of anchor state we ought to be. We need the kind of airports we see in developed economies to be able to create the kind of opportunities by attracting more visitors into our country. The challenge we have had in not having to communicate, I think we've had the challenge of communication as a government. And today and over the past few weeks, we have attempted to communicate. There was a bit of a lapse of communication in the way we've carried the public privately initiated investment by Adani in this airport, because we do appreciate that we have a PPP Act which allows private investors to seek opportunities to invest. And when this is done, we do negotiate on certain parameters. We negotiate on what you might have come to understand as what would be the return on equity we are going to allow them. We negotiate on the debt equity ratio, because ordinarily equity is expensive. And because equity is expensive, you don't want the debt equity ratio to be significantly, or the equity to be significantly high. So at a debt equity ratio of 30-70, 30 being equity and 70 being debt. You know, when you borrow foreign currency or foreign denominated loans, you can borrow at 8-9%, maybe today up to 10%. But for equity, you can get equity, given the market today, you can get it up to 18%, 16%, maybe 15%. So when you do a debt equity ratio of 30-70, we do appreciate that the equity part will be slightly expensive. But the beautiful thing is that we price down percentage of equity, so that whereas equity is expensive, it is only 30%. So these are some of the disclosures. These are some of the disclosures we have not carried us along to understand what exactly we are doing. Then next time we'll have a loudspeaker so that we can communicate well. So with the disclosure that we need to make, what kind of timelines are we looking at so that when the concession agreement is processed through the PPP Act, and there's a very articulate process, which will include coming to the board of KAA, it will include getting the legal opinion from the Attorney General, it will include going to Cabinet, it will include taking the concession agreement to Cabinet. And I want to assure you, Cabinet is here to protect the interests of our Kenyans. Unajua hiyo ni sawa, mtanisikiza na nitawasikiza pia, hakuna shida. I will listen to you and you listen to me. What we have agreed today, and why don't we be patient to each other? Kwa sababu si Secretary General amesema tumekubaliana na kuna maandishi tumekubaliana. So let me allow the SG to basically read through what we have agreed, how we are going to work together and build consensus on way forward. And I don't see any points of divergence if we are talking to each other, if we are communicating. So we have agreed that we'll work with your si pengine Diema, so you are going to represent your members. Ama itakuwa namna gani? Yeah. So I think it is important that we have agreed, we have an agreement on a return to work formula, and I want to invite the Secretary General of KOTU to read to us what we have agreed today. What is very important and what I want to say from the government position is that we are also aware that we have been taken to court. This presents a good opportunity to present all the documents to court in a form of a public participation, because maneno ikienda kotini, all the documents will be put out there. And this is part of the communication that will help us as government to continue communicating, continue public participation, and ensure everybody does get what the government is seeking to do to basically employ the PPP framework to open our infrastructure in roads. I also represent roads. To open our infrastructure in airports, to open our infrastructure in schools for our students, and so on and so forth. So I want to thank you, Brother Atwoli, for being with us this afternoon, for reaching that consensus agreement on a return to work formula. And let me now invite you, sijui kama Diema atasema kidogo, but you can manage the program from there. Asanteni sana. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Comrade power! Bado kidogo. Comrade power! You are great people. Yenye ni watu wangu nguvu. Katibu atawasomea yale tumesema. But what I can say on my part very briefly ni kwamba hatujesema sisi tumekubali Adani. Haya, tulia. Pili, tutapewa kura ya turufu, veto power, ambayo kalamu yetu itahitajika ndio isonge hatua moja wapi mbele. Hiyo ni sawa sawa? Na si mnanijua? Si mnaniamini? Kama ni mbaya si nitawaambia? Na hata wakate mkono sita sign, si ndio? Asanteni, Mungu awabariki.
Umesikia hiyo? Vile Ndiema amesema ni ya kwamba we as a trade union and your trade union, you will move together with management and government kwa hii issue mpaka mwisho. Kwa hivyo vile Ndiema anasema hii agreement haisemi ya kwamba from today mambo yote imekwisha. It's a process, ndio. Na kwa hii process we have gotten a stake ya kwamba ni lazima tutakuwa ndani kabisa. Wale watu waliokuwa katika huu mkutano under the able chairmanship of CS ilikuwa ni mimi Francis Atwoli from Kotu. We had my chairman general Reverend Joel Kandie Chebi. We had Mr. Mohammed Dagar, CBSPS Transport, Mr. Alan Kilavuka, Group CEO and MD Kenya Airways. We had Mr. Henry Ogoe, Acting MD or CEO, Kenya Airport Authority. We had also Brother Mos Ndiema, General Secretary. We had Brother Robert Lichoro from the union, Daniel Yatich from COW, of course, Brother Walton Ngeri from COW, Brother Anton Kajita from Kenya Aviation Workers Union, and Sister Dorcas McKenna from Kenya Airways Workers Union. Kenya Aviation Workers Union. That is Sister Dorcas McKenna. This was a very strong team that iliangalia in every area of your concerns. We have agreed to resume work on the following conditions, of which we have already agreed on them. That now we have received, so mnajua tulikuwa hatuna documents. Documents have been made available to us, most pertinent documents, as requested by the union. We undertake to go through them within 10 days, working days, and flag out areas of our concern, which shall immediately be pointed out with a view of jointly engaging in discussion with government, Kenya Airways, Kenya Airport Authority, after we have flagged out our concerns. Naona government iko ndani. That the meeting shall be immediately convened after the said period of 10 working days. That the way forward shall be determined by the outcome of our engagement on the same. We shall be represented in all the negotiations by 2 people through. Mtakuwa muko represented. If anything happens, they flag out to us and then we come back to you. Number 4, that the parties, that is government, Kenya Airport Authority, shall is mandatory, shall not enter into any final agreement or append their signatures without concurrence with the Kenya Aviation Workers Union. Si hapo mko covered? Shenzi sana. That the Kenya Airports Authority and Kenya Airways management should expedite collective bargaining agreements, those CBAs, pending CBAs negotiations within 2 months. Pia hiyo tumeweka mambo ya negotiation ya mishahara ndani. That there shall be no victimization on either party or parties, employers or workers as a result of this strike. Hakuna mtu atafutwa kazi ama atapatiwa warning. Earlier court case between Kenya Airports Authority and COW, on the notes given on 12th August 2024 should be withdrawn. That case number is ELRCC E648/2024. Watoe hiyo kesi. Alafu number 7, this is the government's position now. Already the matter is before the court, and therefore the government will use the court process to ensure that all relevant information is made available to the court and all other holders to facilitate clarity and understanding on the development of this major national infrastructure. Hapo government inakubali, inasema hakuna document yeyote ambayo ni ya maana haitapatikana kwa wale ambao ni stakeholders. Na mimi nimeambia, with us we are not stakeholders, we own the stake. The stake is for workers. So anything coming out of whatever or any information, it will be passed through our parent trade union, COW. Lastly, that the acting managing director, Mr. Henry Ogoy, undertakes to dialogue, communicate, and engage the registered and accredited trade union officials. Ofisi ya Bwana MD wa Kenya Airport Authority itakuwa wazi kwa mambo ya majadiliano, kwa kitu chochote ambacho ni cha dharura kinachotokea, watakuwa wanashauriana na ofisi ya Bwana Mos Ole Ndiema, ofisi ya COW. This document is signed by Henry Ogoe, Acting Managing Director, CEO Kenya Airport Authority, Mr. Alan Kilavuka, Group CEO and Managing Director of Kenya Airways, and Brother Moses Ndiema, General Secretary of Kenya Aviation Workers Union. Kama mlisikia sawasawa, you are covered, you are safe, mtakuwa na watu wenu. Sasa hakuna negotiation ya kwamba Bwana Ndiema angojee barua kutoka kwa mtu yeyote. Mtakuwa mnapata, amesema atakuwa na economist na lawyer ndani ya hiyo mipango yote ya negotiations. Alafu pili, mmesikia tukisema there will be nobody, the government will not append a signature. Na hii ni authority, na hii ni copy yetu, unless mtu achomee kwa ofisi, na tutakuwa na copies kadhaa, tutaweka zingine pande ingine tofauti, si ndio? Ya kwamba hakuna mtu yeyote atamwambia ya kwamba Adani na serikali wameshakubaliana kabla kujakuwa na any concurrence na chama na wafanyikazi. Sio ilikuwa kazi mzuri? Mmeridhika? Mungu awe na nyinyi, na tunaomba wale ambao wana kazi ya kufanya saa hii, ambao wangeliendelea na kazi zao, mrudi kazini, pahali penu pa kazi haraka iwezekanavyo. Na pia tunawashukuru kwa kusimama kidete. Kama mngelisimama hivi, labda tungelikuwa na hii agreement. Mpende chama chenu, mpende viongozi wenu. Viongozi wenu hawawezi kuwauza, na mimi nawahakikishia kama mzee wenu katika labor movement na kwa nchi hii ya kwamba hii ni agreement mzuri, si ndio? Asante.
Sasa tumemaliza mgomo, si ndio? Now program ya kurudi kazi, labda kuna wale wanahitajika kuwa kazi saa hizi, hamko kwa uniform, tunaomba KAA management lazima iwafacilitate. Kama ni wale wanataka kwenda nyumbani, uende uoge ukuje kazi, si ndio? Sawa sawa? Yes. Sababu tumekuwa hapa tangu juzi sisi, hata mimi sijaoga. Kwa hivyo hiyo matayarisho ifanyike. Kama hii airport ingekuwa mzuri, tungekuwa na maji warm ya kuoga, tungekuwa na hoteli, mngepelekwa mkule, lakini aizuru wanyonge, sisi tutaishi hivyo namna hiyo, si ndio? Kwa hivyo nobody should harass you. Mtu asikwambie kimbia kazi. Sisi nimesema wazi mbele ya serikali, muendeshwe polepole. Kama ni basi ya kwenda Kayole, uende oga, mbia dereva nipatie 45 minutes, urudi wapi? Kazi. Hiyo ni sawa sawa? Watu wangu ya strong. God bless you.